Hey folks, another day, another video. This time a video about cleaning the airbrush. I know I showed this several times at the end of other videos, but it's easier to show it on a video by itself. I just sprayed with this airbrush. This is after the last video you saw, and now I will show you how to clean the airbrush after painting. It's basically the same on other airbrush companies as well. I will say something to the differences. Okay, the first step I always do is to apply some thinner into the cup, and then use my old brush here I use for applying the color into the airbrush as well, and stir in the cup until most of the color is off the sides. Then empty the cup only into my water cup, add some more color. Pay attention to open the backside completely, and then just spray the thinner into this airbrush cup. You can hear when it's empty, that's now the case. And then remove the airbrush from the hose, open the backside of the airbrush, remove the front of the airbrush, open the screw that fixes the needle, and push the needle outside the front of the airbrush. So now you have the airbrush, the needle and the nozzle. At first I start by cleaning the airbrush itself. I know you can buy several tools. There are these brush sets, but I wouldn't suggest buying the brush sets. All you need is the tiny brushes like this one. Make it damp with airbrush cleaner and then push it through the front of the airbrush. Always clean the small brush in a cup of airbrush thinner, and you can see when no color is leaking from the brush anymore, then the airbrush is clean inside. You always have some color rest in the front, therefore I just use a Q-tip soaked in thinner and I go into the front. You can remove the cup as well, then it's easier. If you have a removable cap, that's not the case on all airbrushes. Then go inside the airbrush and clean it there as well. If you've done so, I always pour some thinner into the airbrush, and after this step it should be very clean again. So this part is done. Then the next part is the needle. The needle is easy. Just use a tissue soaked with thinner and clean the needle in this way. Now the needle is clean as well. Now the trickiest part starts, the nozzle. The nozzle can be usually pulled out of the front part of the airbrush. You can screw off the safety cap, and then you can see there's always color on here. Guess, yeah. You can remove this easily with a Q-tip as well. Go inside it with a Q-tip. You have to push a little bit harder on this part, and it's the same on the security guard of the nozzle. Enter the Q-tip until it's clean. This part is usually a little bit trickier, therefore I use mostly an old interdental brush. Interdental brushes are good for cleaning the airbrush in special parts, but for the body itself I recognize that they are usually too short. Then you can screw on the guard on the front again. Okay. if you see some color rest still, use the Q-tip again and remove it. Okay, now it's clean. The trickiest part is the nozzle itself. The nozzle on this airbrush is quite big, which is good for cleaning. You can use the interdental brush as well and just go into the airbrush nozzle and clean it from the inside. It works the same on the Harder & Steenbeck airbrush, but the nozzle is a little bit smaller there. So people keep telling me that they buy this little tool here to clean the airbrush nozzle, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a sharp tool, and you can do more damage than you help the nozzle. I usually use the needle, the clean needle, enter into the nozzle and push slightly out of the nozzle and push out all the color that might still be in it. Okay, looks quite clean to me, no stuff on the front, and then I use the bottle of the cleaner and push until some cleaner is spilled out. And basically that's it. There's only one step left. Now I put this thing together again, reapply the nozzle into the front, screw it back on, and then I use some lubricant. This stuff here is weapon oil. I just enter a small drop onto my finger, and then I apply it slightly on the needle, and then the needle is reapplied into the airbrush. Push until you reach the point where it comes out the nozzle again, put on the screw again, put on the back side again, and all we have to clean is the color pot. I know people who don't clean the color pot at all. It's a no-go in my opinion, but it's your tool, you can do with it what you want. And yeah, it's sometimes a little bit tricky to find the point where the screw grips, and then apply the color pot again and you have a clean airbrush. What I usually do as the last step, add the hose again and push out the thinner that's left into the airbrush, and now it's clean. Now you can start over at the next airbrush session again. As I said before, I want to say something concerning other airbrushes. Basically the Harder & Steenbeck work the same way than the Galeri. The Iwata airbrushes work a little bit different because they don't have this push inside nozzle as this one has. They are screwed on, and I wouldn't recommend cleaning the nozzle of the airbrush after every painting session. It usually is enough to do this every several times. Okay, so much for cleaning the airbrush. As you can see, the Mobius is not only a good airbrush for spraying, it's easy to clean. Most people I have here who I teach airbrushing are always afraid of cleaning this thing. There is no need to be afraid. It's easy peasy, and if you clean your airbrush every time, you have long-term fun with them. So the airbrush is your friend, treat it as your friend, and then you can use it for a very long time. Okay, I hope you learned something. If you liked this little video, please please subscribe my channel, leave a comment, leave a like, and yeah, I hope to see you soon in the next video. See you soon, Florian out.